Namaskar everybody and welcome to today's Geeta Satsang. We are having this on the auspicious occasion of Deepavali. Today is Naraka Chaturdashi. So on this day we are blessed that we can have our satsang also. So with festival wishes to all of you, let us start our satsang with prarthana. By the Guru's grace and the will of Sri Krishna, we have all assembled for this Geeta Satsang. May we have their guidance to be able to learn and adopt the things which will help us to grow spiritually. Let us chant the shlokas. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Krishnaya Vasudevaya Haraye Paramatmane Pranatah Kleshanashaya Govindaya Namo Namaha नमोऽस्तु ते व्यासविशालबुद्धे पुल्लारविन्दायतपत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयप्रदीपः रामानुजतया पात्रं ज्ञानवैराग्यभूषणं श्रीमद्वेङ्कटनाथार्यं वन्दे वेदान्तदेशिकम् यो नित्यमच्युतपदाम्बुजयुग्मरुक्म व्यामोहतस्तदितराणि तृणाय मेने अस्मद्गुरोर्भगवतोऽस्य दयैकसिन्धोः रामानुजस्य चरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये. So with prayers at the lotus feet of the Acharyas, let us start our shlokas for today. So in the last satsang, we had seen up to the third shloka of the fifth chapter. So today we will continue ahead and we will take up 4, 5 and 6, these shlokas from the fifth chapter. So in the fourth chapter, Krishna is continuing to speak. Sankhya yogau prithak balaha pravadanti na panditaha ekamapyastitas samyug ubhayor vindate phalam. Only the ignorant speak of Sankhya, which is renunciation of actions or karma sannyasa, and karma yoga, work in devotion, as different. Those who are truly learned say that by applying ourselves to any one of these paths, we can achieve the results of both. So we have been seeing in this chapter how Krishna is advising Arjuna. Arjuna has asked the question that you told me in the previous chapters that jnana yoga is one path, karma yoga is another path. And you said jnana is good, it is better. Then I want to do jnana yoga, but you are telling me no, I should do karma yoga. So why? So we had seen in the last satsang how Krishna had explained to Arjuna that for him specifically, because he is a kshatriya, he should perform karma yoga. Because he may be capable of jnana yoga, but because he is involved in loka sangraha, there are people who are going to look up to him and follow him. So he should do that which is easy for them also to do. So he should be doing karma yoga. Now here Krishna is telling further that now both these karma yoga and jnana yoga, they are equally capable of giving atma sakshatkara. Now there are some people who talk as if karma yoga is different and jnana yoga is different, that these two margas are contradictory, that there is some clashing between them. Now those people, Krishna says that they are like balaha. So what is this balaha? Actually bala means young people or children who are young in age and who are less in their understanding also. Now here when Krishna is saying bala, he does not mean young in age, but rather he means those who have very less knowledge, those whose knowledge has not fully developed, those who don't have complete knowledge, those people, he is calling them ignorant people. So these ignorant people, how he is classifying them as ignorant? Because they are the ones who are talking as if this Sankhya Yoga is Jnana Yoga, that is giving up actions and doing only dhyana and by the path of jnana reaching to Lord. So these people who speak that Sankhya and Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga and Karma Yoga are different, they are ignorant people. But who are the truly learned? Who is Pandita? Who are these learned people? those people who understand that whether you do karma yoga or you do jnana yoga, it is going to give you the same result of Atma Sakshatkara. The thing is that whether you are pursuing this path or you are pursuing the other path, either path can get you the same result. But you have to practice it with proper commitment, with sincerity, and by holding on to that as the main goal of your life. Like, for example, now why Krishna is explaining that both are same. It's like saying, if we want to understand from a worldly example, the commentators tell us that it is like when somebody has pursued a study, like let us say they have completed their PUC, they did science PUC, and they have now gone further, and they have what we say, they are doing their degree, they are doing BSc. Now somebody may have chosen chemistry as their major, somebody may have chosen physics as their major. So whatever it is, whether it is BSc in chemistry or it is BSc in physics, ultimately what is it that the person has? He has what is called as an undergraduate degree. So whether he went by this course of study or he went by that course of study, he has got an undergraduate degree. You can say that he has completed his graduation. So this way, whether somebody does jnana yoga or somebody does karma yoga, ultimately what is the final result? They will get Atma Sakshatkara. So this is what Krishna is telling. Now, if that is the case, should Arjuna conclude that, okay, Krishna is saying that karma yoga and jnana yoga both are same, both will give Atma Sakshatkara. So can Arjuna say that, okay, then I will do jnana yoga? No, he cannot. Why? Because as we saw in the previous satsang, in the previous shlokas, Krishna has already told that for you being in a position of loka sangraha, for you the most appropriate one is karma yoga. Now there is another way in which this shloka can be interpreted. First we said that those who are ignorant, they say that jnana yoga and karma yoga are different. And those who are really learned, they are saying that they know that both of them give the same result. Now, does that mean that both of them have to be pursued to reach the result of Atma Sakshatkara? No, either one alone is sufficient. So here when Krishna is saying that by applying ourselves to any one of these paths, we can achieve the results of both. Results of both means ultimate result. What is that ultimate result? Whether you are going by Jnana Yoga or you are going by Karma Yoga Marga, then the result is the same Atma Sakshatkara. So by applying ourselves to any of these paths, by following with commitment any of these paths, the same results will be achieved. Now, in the next shloka, Krishna is going to explain something further. So in the fifth shloka, he says, यत् सांख्यैः प्राप्यते स्थानं तद्योगैरपि गम्यते एकं सांख्यं च योगं च यः पश्यति स पश्यति. The supreme state which is attained by means of karma sannyasa, sankhya, is also attained by karma yoga, by working with devotion. Hence, those who see karma sannyasa and karma yoga to be identical truly see the things as they are. So here now he's going one step further and he's saying that if there is somebody, now there are some people who are pandita and they know that both karma yoga and jnana yoga will give you the same result. So they are both reaching to the same end point. But further than that, the next level, the higher level are those people, those jnanis, what they know? They know that because both are giving the same results, they are both actually the same. So a person who is able to understand that basically there is actually no difference between jnana yoga and karma yoga, these are the people who know the real truth. Like for example, here the commentators given Laukika example. Now suppose let us say that I want to take darshan of Lord Venkateshwara at Tirupati. So I will climb up the hill and I go there and whatever for that 2 seconds of darshan, I will stand there and I will have darshan of the Lord exactly standing in front of him. So that is one way I can take darshan. Now what if there is somebody who cannot go to Tirupati? What happens to that person? He can sit at home, he can watch the SVBC channel, and on that also, wherever they are showing the Lord's form, he can see that and he can have darshan, isn't it? So this is one example. So is there any difference? Can you say that the person who saw on the TV had no darshan and the person who only went physically got darshan? No, all of them got darshan. Of course, there are some other points here which we are not going to get into. Our quoting this example is only to understand that there is no actual difference. Both, if the ultimate result is darshan of the Lord, then whether you go and stand in front of him or you see him through the television, you are getting darshan. Of course, there are different things like Kshetra Mahima, then Satvikata in that region, place, then going along with other Bhagavatas and having darshan, being in satsang and having darshan. Those we are not getting into. But if you say like this, that what is the ultimate result? Having darshan of the Lord. That can be achieved by different margas. So whether you go by this marga or you go by that marga, you have got darshan of the Lord. Let us say there was somebody who climbed up the hill, walked up the hill and went. Let us say there was somebody who took the bus and climbed up the hill. And ultimately they went and they saw the Lord. Is there any difference in that? Ultimate result was achieved. Only the paths may appear to be different. Similarly, let us say there were some jnanis who were doing jnana yoga, and by doing lot of tapasya and all that, in the say Treta Yuga or in the Dwapar Yuga, they managed to achieve darshan of the Lord in their mind. They got through the meditation, they had darshan of the Lord. Now today in Kali Yuga, we don't have abilities like them, but we have the Archavatara form of the Lord. The Lord is present in so many places. He has taken different forms, and he has taken different forms which can attract our attention. He appears in different forms for the benefit of all his devotees. So we are also seeing the Lord. We are seeing with these physical eyes, and those yogis, they saw with their mental eyes. So ultimately, if you say that having darshan of the Lord is the end goal, then that end goal has been achieved by some people through this path, other people through other path. So like that, if the end result is Atma Sakshatkara, then you can use Jnana Yoga to get there, or you can use Karma Yoga to get there. Now, the thing is that in Kali Yuga today, we are even more blessed because everything has been made very easy. During those previous yugas, see in Krita Yuga, then in Treta Yuga and in Dwapar Yuga, the people had comparatively different, attributes. They had very long lifespans. They could do tapas for thousands of years together, right? So they could follow Dhyana Yoga Marga. They could pursue this Jnana path. Then what happened later, slowly, slowly, as the ayus started becoming less, then people would do karma kanda. They used to do worship of the Lord. And by doing that, they would get Atma Sakshatkara. But now what has happened? It is Kali Yuga. So neither we have long ayus, nor we have lot of concentration ability. We cannot get our mind to focus on one thing. So that also becomes trying to sit and focus and meditate on the Lord becomes difficult for us. Then if we say we want to do karma kanda also, there is a limit up to which we can do because again of time constraint. Then we know that materials nowadays, the samagri that we are going to use, they are not shuddha. What about the purohitas who are doing the vidhi? Are they totally completely sattvic and only engaged in devotion to the Lord? Not necessarily. So like this, even that path may not be capable of yielding us results. But what is the biggest benefit that Lord has given for this Kali Yuga? He has given us the path of namasmarana, and he has given us the uh, fortune of living in a time when the Lord in his Archavatara is there in so many places and he is easily accessible to us. He is available to us in the form of a saligrama which we keep in our houses. And that saligrama is having the same Divya Mangala Vigraha. It is the same as the form of the Lord in Vaikuntha. So that aprakrita rupa of the Lord is there in front of us right now. So we are very blessed in this Kali Yuga. And in fact, many times it is so much easy that we may not be doing the same things which those people did earlier to us. But even if we remember that and we sing the praises of the Lord based on how these people taught us, or we try to do the same things, just the fact that we are praising the Lord in keeping with what our Purvacharyas taught us, that itself is enough to get us the phala of Atma Sakshatkara. So here again, the commentators give the example. Now, when the gopis were living with Krishna in Gokula, in Vrindavan at that time, what they did, all the gopis wanted to attain Krishna as their husband. So they performed a vrata called as Katyayani vrata. So this was during Dwapar Yuga. Then later what happened? This devotee, this child devotee called Andal, who is the daughter of Periyalvar in Srivilliputtur, she knew about this vrata. She wanted to get married to Krishna also. She wanted to marry Lord Ranganatha of Srirangam. So what she did during the Dwapar Yuga, the gopis did this Katyayani vrata to attain the Lord as their husband. So I will do the same. She imitated the actions of those gopis of Vrindavan. Now, we are neither the gopis nor we are Andal. We are living in this today, present day Kali Yuga. And we don't have that same bhava like them. But for us, it is told, it is enough if we sing the Tiruppavai, which is the song of how Andal imitated the gopis, how Andal had bhakti, and whatever she's teaching us, you do like this, you do like this, you just offer one flower to the Lord, you just sing the Lord's glories, you praise the Lord at all times, you don't ask anything from the Lord except Himself. If we just sing those songs and we learn the essence of what she's teaching and we try to adopt that in our life, we will also get the same result of bhakti to Krishna. So this is the greatness of the Lord, that He is not bothered about whether He is not going to stick on to rules and say, okay, did you do jnana yoga? Did you do karma yoga? See, if He had to think of whether somebody does jnana yoga, karma yoga, this, that, everything and all that, and He had strict rules and He had to only stick to those things, then would He have come to save Gajendra, the elephant? When Gajendra screamed out to the Lord, that Gajendra had not done any jnana yoga, karma yoga, bhakti yoga, isn't it? What about Draupadi? Didn't he come to save her when she called out in need? What about Jatayu? He gave up his very life and the Lord sent him to moksha. He sent him to Swarga. So, sorry, not Swarga. He sent him to Vaikuntha, to moksha. So, if we just take tiny steps of going towards the Lord with whatever is given to us in this Janma, then we will get those same benefits. So we need not, for us, we need not actually worry. But here Krishna is talking to Arjuna, and that is why he is trying to explain to Arjuna what should be the path that Arjuna has to take. So he is trying to explain to him that how people think that Jnana Yoga and Karma Yoga are different, but that is ignorance to think like that. Instead, you should keep doing whatever one path, follow it perfectly, and you will get there. But because you are a Kshatriya, for you, Karma Yoga is superior. Now he is going to talk in the next shloka about although both those are equally capable of getting us the goal, but the one who does Karma Yoga will quickly attain the Lord. So in the sixth shloka, he says, Sanyasastu mahabaho dukkhamaptumayo gataha yoga-yukto munir-brahma nachirena-digacchati. Perfect renunciation, karma sannyasa, is difficult to attain. Now here when he is saying renunciation and karma sannyasa, we mean jnana yoga. So having perfection in jnana yoga is difficult to attain without performing karma yoga, without doing work with devotion, O Arjuna. But the Muni, the sage, who is adept, someone who is been doing repeatedly, who has become an expert in Karma Yoga, very quickly he attains the Lord. So previous shlokas, Krishna differentiated. These are ignorant people, they are learned people based on how they understand Jnana Yoga and Karma Yoga. Now Arjuna has an unspoken question in his mind that if both are same, then why you are stressing on Karma Yoga? So here Krishna is telling, he has already told Arjuna, Karma Yoga is for you because you are Kshatriya. Now here he is telling, both are the same, both give the same result, but Karma Yoga gives the same results faster, in shorter time, in an easy manner. Now, if there is somebody who wants to pursue the path of Jnana Yoga, then it is quite difficult, because if he is saying, I will withdraw my senses, I will withdraw my mind from all the sense objects, I am not going to get involved in this world, but he decides that he is going to do dhyana, and by that he is going to get rid of all connections with this world, and he is going to get Atma Sakshatkara. But what happens is, because of the vasanas of the past janmas and all those things, the samskaras that are there in our subconscious mind and all that, it becomes very difficult to do that. So that much level of sense control, mind control to get Atma Sakshatkara is very difficult, and it takes a lot of time. If you make one small mistake also, you are going to slip down very badly. We all know the story of Vishwamitra Rishi, isn't it? How he was a Kshatriya, then he wanted to become a Rishi, then he wanted to get he wanted to get all the powers. He wanted to be declared as a Brahma Rishi. How he did so many things, and every time, but he lost his temper. He did this, he did that, and he fell down from that position again. All his tapascharya got wasted. So, like that, getting such Atma Sakshatkara by doing Jnana Yoga, imagine if it was so difficult for Vishwamitra Rishi, is it going to be something doable for us? It's very difficult. It takes a very long time and there is a lot of chance of slipping up and it's very difficult to do. But if somebody does Karma Yoga, if he does all his actions, he does all the actions which are prescribed in the Shastras, and then he does those actions along with jnana attached to it. You remember we talked about this in the fourth chapter, that you keep doing the karma that you have to do, but you do it by attaching the appropriate knowledge for it, with the knowledge that why am I doing this? What is the benefit that is going to come out of doing this? When you do like that, we have talked often of the example. If somebody is tying flowers for offering to the Lord, now I can do it in different ways. I can just tie the flowers mechanically by gossiping with someone. I can tie the flowers while chatting with my friends. I can tie the flowers while watching some TV program of mundane matters. Or I can tie the flowers by constantly doing namasmarana and by focusing my mind on the Lord. By saying that, oh Lord, I'm doing this seva. I thank you for the opportunity to give me, that you have given me to do this seva of tying flowers to offer to you. And I'm doing this only because I want to offer these flowers to you, and you will look very beautiful wearing my flowers. And I want to see the joy on your face when I offer these flowers to you. That means I'm doing Karma Yoga, but with constant contemplation of these ideas of Atmajnana. So Jnana has got attached to my Karma Yoga. So when I do like that, firstly, because I'm doing Karma Yoga, that purifies me. That destroys the vasanas which are there from many janmas. And because of that, I start getting purified. And as I do constantly like that, I keep doing, I will get the Atma Sakshatkara very quickly, very easily, because I'm doing karma with the right bhava. So for a karma yogi, because he attaches the jnana component to his karma yoga, he gets results very quickly. But for the jnana yogi who is saying that I'm not going to do any karma, I am doing karma sannyasa, I'm giving up karma and I'm going to get Atma Sakshatkara, it is not so easy. So this is what Krishna is telling to Arjuna. So here there is a story which we can talk about to understand this concept. I think I don't remember if we've talked about this in some previous satsang anywhere. Anyway, there was this one Brahmana called Kaushika. Now, please note, he is a different person. This Vishwamitra Rishi is also called Kaushika Muni. So this is not Vishwamitra. This is just one normal Brahmana who is called Kaushika. So he had lot of desire to have Atma Sakshatkara, to attain the Lord and like that. So he gave up everything and he went to the Himalayas. He went and he was sitting there in meditation in some mountainous region. He sat, he meditated for many years. Then he went to many different places and he meditated. And he thought that, yes, now he has achieved mind control and sense control. And he came back to the, place where people were living. He was living in isolation. He pursued his sadhana there, staying isolated from everybody else. And then he came back to society. Now, when he came, he went to one house to beg for bhiksha. So he went, he went to that house to beg for bhiksha. When he went there, that lady didn't open the door very quickly. She opened after some time and then she told him, please wait, I'm serving my husband. I will come back and I'll give you the bhiksha. So she made him wait for some time. And after doing all her duties there, she came and she gave. Now this Kaushika got very angry that how dare she is making me wait like this. This is like an insult to me. I am a Brahmana. I have come for bhiksha. And doing dana to a Brahmana is the supreme duty of a grihini. Why? How can she do like this? And he got very angry. And when she came back, that anger was very evident on his face and he was about to say something to her. At that time, that grihini told him, "Oh Brahmana, I know, I'm sorry. I apologize that I kept you waiting. But your anger cannot do anything to me. Do you think that I'm like the crow whom you burnt with your anger?" She asked. Now this Kaushika was shocked because this was an incident that had happened just before, one day before this Kaushika came to this lady's house. He came down from the mountains where he was doing his tapasya, and when he was taking rest under a tree, there had been a crow which was sitting on top of the tree, and by its natural propensity, it dropped its excreta. That fell almost on this Brahmana, and he was very angry. And he got so angry that he looked at that crow, and with his mere gaze, now he had so much tapobala, no? With his gaze, he just looked at that crow, and with his eyes, that power from his eyes, he burnt that crow to ashes. And that had happened, and he had come the next day to this lady. Now this Kaushika is shocked because that also had happened in the forest. There was nobody around. And he's thinking, how does this ordinary housewife she is, how does she know that I burnt that crow to ashes? He's shocked, and he asks her, who are you? How do you know all this? So she said, don't worry about that. I am just a normal grihini, but I am a grihini who is following all the dharma that is told for me as per varnashrama. I am following all my duties perfectly. And that is why I had the power to see that incident which happened. So if somebody does, what was this grihini doing? She was doing karma yoga. If somebody does karma yoga in the right way as it is prescribed in the Shastra, they can get greater powers than that of somebody like Kaushika who was only pursuing jnana yoga. Are you getting the point? So further, she went one step and she told that Kaushika that why you are surprised that I know. Even that Dharma Vyadha who is living in Mithila Nagari knows about this. So this Kaushika is shocked because Vyadha is somebody who is a butcher, someone who sells the flesh of animals. And he's surprised why he's calling this Vyadha job, somebody who's a butcher, it is such a violent job, isn't it? Someone who kills animals and sells their meat. How can she, why is she saying Dharma Vyadha? So he asked her, what is this? Who is this person? So she says, no, there is this person called Dharma Vyadha in Mithila. You go and meet him, and he will, you have lots to learn still. So you go and meet him, and he will clear all your doubts, she tells. Now, this Kaushika is really surprised and he's bent on seeing what is this whole thing about. So he goes, the next day, he goes to Mithila Nagari. And there he asks around that I want to meet this Dharma Vyada. So everybody directs him to one place, which is a butcher shop. Now, he's surprised. There is one big queue of people who are waiting. Some of them are waiting to buy the meat. And equally surprising, there is another row of very wise, learned people who is also waiting there. So he is surprised that why are these people waiting here? They are all wise people. They are all brahmanas. They are not the people who are going to consume this meat. Why are they waiting here? Then he just decides to watch from a distance and see what happens. So first, this Dharma Vyada, he serves all these customers who have come to buy the meat. He gives it to them and he completes. Then, once he is done with his work, he sits aside, and then one by one, all those wise people, they approach him and they are asking their dharma sandeha to him. And this butcher, is clarifying to them all the concepts of dharma and adharma. So this Kaushika is really very shocked. So he just waits quietly till all those people go away. Now, after this Dharma Vyada has cleared all their doubts, this Kaushika slowly, everybody has gone away from there. Now he's the only person. So he goes there and he hesitantly, slowly approaches this Dharma Vyada. The Dharma Vyada looks at him and he smiles at Kaushika and he says, come, come. Have you come because the Grihini sent you? Now this Kaushika is totally shocked. How does this man know that I went and the Grihini sent me here? Because they are in totally two different places. How can he know? And those were not times of communication by WhatsApp and all that. So how does he know? He's shocked. So he asks him, how do you know about this? So he says, no, I know about the Grihini and I know why she sent you here. I know about the crow also. And then this Dharma Vyada explains. So this Kaushika is now, he's totally humbled. So he asks him, you are a butcher. You are doing this profession, which is such a low profession. You are killing animals and you're selling their meat. And then how are you able to have the sanctity or the purity to be able to, explain and teach about dharma? Why are you called Dharma Vyada? So then he says, I am called Dharma Vyada because although I may be involved in these actions of a butcher, but I do not perform any himsa. I am not killing the animals. Whichever animals die by natural causes, I bring those animals' bodies to my shop and I sell that meat. Now, I'm not doing this for my pleasure. I'm not killing the animal for my pleasure. I am not doing this business to make more money. Now, I have been born in this profession. I have been born into a family where the profession is that of being a butcher. So I'm just following what my father and forefathers have been doing. But at the same time, I am not doing any himsa. I am not hurting anybody. I am doing my service, my actions with total commitment. And I have contemplated on the self. I have contemplated on Atmajnana. And I'm doing it as a part of my role, what I have to do. But my mind is ever engaged in contemplation on the Lord. And that is the secret of how somebody who is a butcher in actions is a dharma vyada. He is having knowledge of the sukshma tattvas of dharma. And he is so great that he can see what has happened in the past. He has the ability to guide even the learned people. So, like this, what is that? What is it that the Grihini and Dharma Vyada were doing? They were doing Karma Yoga. They were doing their actions. And what is it that Kaushika set out to do? He wanted to pursue Jnana Yoga. But ultimately, who is the one who has attained that equanimity of mind? Who is the one who is having real Atma Sakshatkara? It is the Grihini and it is the Dharma Vyada. It is not Kaushika, because Kaushika has been trying to only isolate himself from the world, to withdraw his senses and mind. But that path is very difficult. The minute, as long as he was alone and there was nobody to disturb him, he was perfectly fine. The minute he entered society and there were some irritants, because he had not actually, he only appeared to have controlled his mind. But when the stimulants were there, when the triggers were there, when the irritants were there, he got irritated. And then his mind was no longer in his control. So, what was the use of all the jnana that he had attained? Isn't it? So, that path of jnana yoga is very, very, very difficult. But the path of karma yoga is comparatively simpler, provided you do the karmas that you are prescribed for you as per your varnashrama with the right bhava, with the correct outlook that why am I doing this? I am doing this because it is my duty. I am doing it without feeling that I am the doer. I am doing it for the pleasure of the Lord. And I am doing it to give joy to the Lord. Like this, with this bhava, when we do, then that karma that we do itself, attached with jnana part, that will give us very quickly Atma Sakshatkara. So this is what Krishna has been trying to explain to Arjuna. So there are further more shlokas. We will take them up in the next satsang. And Krishna is going to establish even more about how this path can give quick results. So for us, the take-home message is we need not get stuck up in the argument. We are actually incapable of anything. But we must just do whatever we can, the small, small actions that we can perform to proceed on our sadhana marga. And it has been told for Kali Yuga that Nama Sankirtana, chanting the Lord's name, Nama Japa, is the easiest and best way to attain further progress. So we must do that. Let us sing the glories of the Lord. Let us hear to the glories of the Lord. Let us talk to others about the glories of the Lord. And let us take a vow from this Deepavali that we will intensify our sadhana. On this auspicious occasion, let us take a vow that we will do whatever we can to cut down our attachments to other worldly things. And we will not get involved more than what is required in worldly matters. And instead, we will focus our energies on developing ourselves, on improving our sadhana, on getting closer to Lord by constant hearing and chanting of His glories. So we have reached the end of our time. Let us now offer Kritagnyata. Let us offer gratitude at the lotus feet of Sri Krishna and Guru for inspiring us to start and join this satsang. And let us pray for their blessings and grace to always be on us. Thank you everybody for attending and wish you a very happy Deepavali. And we will meet again next Thursday as usual. Thank you. Namaskar.